Well, welcome everybody to our online program on addiction and recovery from the Sunshine Coast Health Center up here in Powell River, BC. And we've been looking at examples of Viktor Frankl's ideas on addiction. So Frankl said that addiction was a response to living a life that lacked personal meaning. And if that's true, then the solution is to start living a life that's rewarding and fulfilling, and you're excited to get up in the morning. So there's a very interesting book by a guy by the name of Donald Newlove. And it's called Those Drinking Days. And the first half of the book, Newlove is basically trashing himself. For 150 pages, he's talking about all his character flaws and defects and how deceitful he was and all that sort of thing. And then the last half of the book, he takes on all these great writers, like people like James Joyce and Hemingway and Faulkner and people who are known to have drinking problems. And he trashes them. He calls them all deceitful and deviant and everything else. Anyway, most of the people who have read the book pretty much dismiss the last half, where he's just more or less preaching and basically sermonizing, like one of those irritating Reformed alcoholics. But the first half of the book is really interesting because he's completely self-absorbed and self-centered. And Frankl always said that if you wanted to live a meaningful life, you actually had to transcend yourself. He said the worst thing you could do was live a life that, for example, you only ask, well, what's in it for me? He said that's no good. You'll never live a good life. You always have to do something in your life that's bigger than you are. And that may be for your family. It may be to do something to help out the community. He was very big, for example, on volunteering, things like that. So it's this idea of transcending yourself. So Newlove's book, which is the time he was in active addiction, is a very good example of how not to live a meaningful life by being so totally self-absorbed and not really thinking of doing something to help other people and this kind of self-centeredness. Anyway, so that's it's a very interesting book in the sense that it seems to reflect a lot what Frankl said. As I said, the first half is good because it's all about Donald Newlove himself. The second half, where he's pretty much trashing all the other great writers, that's a bit questionable to say the least. But anyway, that's this episode in our online program, and we'll be back next time with another example of Viktor Frankl's ideas on addiction.